Many people are still waiting to get their first unemployment check weeks after finally being able to file their claims.
I'm Natalie Brand at the White House with why more money could be on the way for small businesses impacted by the coronavirus.
And showers and storms return tonight and tomorrow night. I'll have those details now at 4:30.
Well, we're continuing to test Anchor from home here at WYMT. I'm, of course, still in the studio, but hopefully we won't have to be at home full time anytime in the near future, but we want to be prepared just in case. So joining us today is WYMT's Lacey Roberts from her home, and she's going to take over this half hour, and I'll be back right before the governor's news conference. So Lacey, good to see you. Take it away.
Good to see you too, Steve, and thank you for this opportunity. And I know this is not the norm, but something that we'll be getting used to now. And getting right to it, some of those strong storms could move into the mountains this evening and tonight, and they're expected to bring high wind and plenty of rain. And of course, to keep us up on this information as we begin, we can bring in Paige, our chief meteorologist, to talk about this. Paige.
Well, Lacey, we have a little bit of some good news heading into tonight. We're starting to see the severe threat back off a little bit tonight, but we still have the severe threat heading into tomorrow. So it's going to be pretty bumpy heading into the next few nights. We'll first talk about tonight. We'll go ahead and take you up to satellite and radar where we haven't seen a whole lot today. Maybe a pop-up thunderstorm or two. I know someone said they saw some or heard some thunder in Harlan a couple of hours ago, but we've mostly been on the drier side. But heading into tonight, that'll definitely change. So you see that slight risk got pulled way north compared to what it was yesterday. Areas along I-64 in West Virginia in that slight risk, while just a little sliver of us are in that marginal risk. And remember, the marginal risk is only a 1 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. So those scattered showers and storms move in late tonight, mostly early for your Wednesday. They're showing right around 6 a.m. and they look to stay really mainly into the Ohio area, but definitely could push into some of our northern counties. And by the afternoon hours, it'll start to die down a little bit. But as we head into Wednesday night into Thursday, another night that we're going to be keeping a close eye on, as most of us are in that slight risk for severe weather once again. I'll have more details on that coming up in a little bit.
Thank you, Paige. And out of a job for weeks with little to no money coming in, that's the reality for some people. As they say, they're still waiting for their first unemployment check. The governor says that they are still waiting and working to fix those problems. WYMT's Phil Pendleton had talked to some people who are trying to just find answers.
Joshua Gill is taking care of a newborn, all the while wondering how he's going to make ends meet for a new baby and 3 kids.
It's just kind of a scary situation having a family to take care of and then the unemployment not coming in right now.
Gill is among thousands out of work and full of questions, often waiting for a phone call or an email.
Why there's so many people that ain't getting nothing. I understand that they're busy.
We absolutely have to do better. We're working with an antiquated system that still wants to tell people who qualify that they don't, because while the law has changed, the software that has created all this and is supposed to streamline it now doesn't work.
The problems early on were people having trouble logging on or even having their phone calls answered here in Frankfort. But now, or recently, people are wondering why their first checks haven't even arrived yet. Una McCarthy says her son was laid off and a check of his checking account revealed a puzzling problem.
Then last week, he got a deposit into his account for $0. So he wasn't sure what that meant.
Other people have said they're getting messages saying their claims are under investigation. Gill said he would just like more communication from the state.
It's nothing, even if it's a piece of paper in the mail. But they're letting us know nothing.
Governor Beshear says they will continue to hire more people to help process claims. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Governor Beshear also says that they will have more information on unemployment during today's 5 p.m. briefing. And across the state, as more test results come in, we are likely to see plenty more cases arrive in the Commonwealth. Now, as you can see here, the confirmed cases in the majority of the Kentucky counties. As for the mountains, several counties still have no reported cases, but that will likely change in the coming days. The governor will have an update for us in less than 30 minutes. And with people searching for ways to be helpful, there are a lot of creative ways to combat the COVID-19 illness, and people of all ages are starting to lend that hand. Mason Buck is an 8th grade student at Duff Allen Central in Floyd County. He recognized the need for protective equipment by watching his mother head to the front lines every day as a healthcare worker. So he made his ideas 3D, creating face shields for his mother and her coworkers.
They have little PPE in general, so I offered to start printing the shields. I looked online, I found Prusa had a design to use. I started printing them in stacks.
Mason plans to print as many masks as possible to help fulfill that need, giving what he can to the people who are working so hard to take care of the community. Hooters says it has laid off nearly 300 Kentucky employees due to the coronavirus crisis, including at its restaurants in Lexington and Richmond. The layoffs include 144 Hooters girls across the state. The restaurant chain says the layoffs started on March 16th. GE Appliance is partnering with the University of Louisville to make face shields. The masks are being used during 3D printing. They'll be used by healthcare workers and first responders. GE is donating them to several places, including U of L Healthcare. And Kentucky Senator Rand Paul no longer has COVID-19. He tweeted today saying that he was retested and that the test came back negative. Paul says he is now volunteering at a local hospital. He's helping people in his community who need medical attention, including coronavirus patients. And he ended the tweet saying, "Together we will overcome this." At least 3,200 people have now died of coronavirus in New York City. 450 more there were killed in 9/11 World Trade Center attacks. And yesterday, the state recorded its biggest one-day jump in deaths. Nationally, there are more than 368,000 reported cases of the virus, and the death toll has reached around 11,000. There are now at least 22 field hospitals open or about to open in 18 states. Congress is preparing to give the Trump administration more funding to support a popular new program geared to help small businesses weather the coronavirus pandemic. Natalie Brand is at the White House with more.
Thank you, everybody, for being with us.
President Trump held a conference call with banking executives as some small businesses worry the relief program meant to help them will run out of funding.
We're going to be going for, it looks like, a very substantial increase in the number because we'll be running out of money pretty quickly, which is a good thing in this case, not a bad thing.
Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin has asked congressional leaders for an additional $250 billion. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has said he wants the Senate to approve more money by Thursday. Members of Congress expect to discuss the coronavirus crisis and a possible Phase 4 stimulus bill in a series of conference calls with the Vice President this week.
It was clear, even as we passed the last bill, that it would not be enough.
According to reports, top White House trade advisor Peter Navarro circulated memos months ago warning the coronavirus pandemic could cost the U.S. economy trillions of dollars and kill hundreds of thousands of Americans.
I never saw it.
Do you know if the president saw it?
I honestly don't know.
And members of a FEMA task force involved in distributing supplies will have to work remotely while their building is cleaned after an individual tested positive for COVID-19. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Now, there has been a shakeup in White House communications team. Stephanie Grisham has stepped down from her role as press secretary to become chief of staff and spokesperson for the First Lady. Kayleigh McKinney will leave the Trump campaign team to become the president's fourth press secretary. And Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is reporting his biggest fundraiser quarter quarter ever. McConnell's campaign says that they raised nearly $7.5 million in the first 3 months of 2020. The Republican incumbent is set up for the re-election this fall. On the Democratic side, State Representative Charles Booker, retired Marine Amy McGrath, farmer Mike Brothard, and mental health counselor Jimmy Osbrooks are all looking to take on McConnell in November. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, as more tests roll in, patients across the nation are awaiting the days for their results. We'll have more on the testing backlog.
And we'll continue those warm temperatures tomorrow, but a cold front will bring in storms tomorrow night and a big cool down as we head into the end of the week. I'll have those details coming up.